Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing Dumpee Experience Stage 1. I provide audio and email coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details, www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing Dumpee Experience Stage 1. So I've been asked by many people to explain the likely feelings and experiences that a dumpee will have after they've been dumped, and hence I've decided to do a mini-series on this very topic. This is episode 1, and I will be explaining the likely dumpee experience that somebody will feel after they've been broken up with in the first initial stage. It goes without saying that this is just a generalised view of dumpees, and although it matches the research that I've done into most dumpee experiences, not every single dumpee will experience every stage in the way that I am going to describe. So please bear that in mind. This is generalised, but according to my research that I've done, most dumpees will experience the 3 stages that I will be explaining in this and further podcasts within this mini-series. So let's get straight into this. And as I said, in today's first episode of the mini-series, we are explaining the Dumpee Experience Stage 1. So after somebody's been dumped, they're likely going to be feeling very desperate to try to understand why this has happened and if they can get their ex back. It's important to understand that the most attractive thing that somebody can feel is rejection. When somebody rejects us, we feel automatically, intensely attracted to them. So although, as I've said, in some instances this might not be the case, but in most instances, when a dumper dumps a dumpee and ends the relationship, the dumpee will begin to feel a lot more attraction towards the dumper than perhaps they even did during the relationship. It is a bizarre experience for the dumpee to be going through, but the pull is real. This is because the dumpee is experiencing a combination of grief and drug withdrawal effects. When this combines, the dumpee is feeling desperate, they're feeling manic, and they want nothing more than to speak with their ex. So it's probably best to describe the dumpee at this very moment as somebody who is very confused about their presence and feeling that their future is totally up in the air and very bleak. Some dumpees will be feeling as well. So when a dumpee has been broken up with, when the relationship has ended and the dumpee is trying to dust themselves down and take stock of what exactly has happened, they will be left with a realization that somebody has ended a relationship without them wanting this to be the same. So somebody's made a decision without their own choice being considered, and therefore the dumpee will likely be feeling very low value. So the dumper, when they have ended the relationship, they have automatically put themselves on a pedestal. They have made the dumpee feel very low value, and they have raised themselves to be somebody of a higher value. The dumpee will likely be experiencing this very same phenomenon. They'll be feeling very low, and they will be almost looking up towards the dumper as a higher power. And this is because the dumper has made a decision that the dumpee had no influence in. The dumper has proven to the dumpee that they are in charge, they are the boss. They have decided to end the relationship. It doesn't matter what the dumpee might want to say about it, might want to try to persuade their ex, might want to try to explain why this was a bad decision. It doesn't matter, because the dumpee is very low value and the dumper is almighty. So when this goes through the dumpee's mind, they are feeling very low value, very confused and very desperate. And it will often start to begin a situation where the dumpee will think of a dumper 24/7. The dumper will be on the dumpee's mind all day, every day. And this is particularly painful for the Dumpee because they're constantly thinking about something that is hurting them. It is almost like being attracted to poison because the more they think about the situation, the more pain they feel, but they feel like they have no other option. Because a few different things are coming into play at this initial stage. Firstly, the Dumpee is likely trying to make sense of the situation. Sometimes dumpers will end a relationship and the Dumpee does not even see it coming. They have absolutely no clue as to why it's happened and they are feeling very, very confused. So they're trying to make sense of the situation and therefore they are thinking about their ex 24/7 as a way of trying to work out in their mind how and why this could be possible. Another reason why the dumper is always in the mind of the Dumpee during this first initial stage is because if the Dumpee wants to try to get back with their ex, if the Dumpee wants to try to sort this out and fix the relationship, then the Dumpee is going to be thinking, what can I do to try to solve this conundrum? What can I do to fix this breakup? How can I heal the relationship? And how can we carry on once more? So the Dumpee will be thinking to themselves all different ways of thinking, plotting, planning of how they can try to get their ex back. The Dumpee will be thinking 24/7 of their ex, thinking, well, maybe if I do this, or maybe if I say that, or maybe if I behave this way, or maybe if I behave that way, maybe this will enable me to get my ex back. And that is another reason as for why the dumper is always on their mind, because they're constantly trying to think of how they can fix the situation. This, of course, is not going to be doing the Dumpee any good, because whilst they're thinking of the dumper 24/7, they're not doing the things that they are most likely lacking right now, which is self-development. Another element as for why the dumper will be constantly on the Dumpee's mind during this initial stage 1 is because there is quite possibly things that need to be sorted out. So for instance, if the dumper and Dumpee used to live with each other, the Dumpee might be thinking to themselves, well, what about everything that we've got to sort out to do with the house? What about my possessions? What about their possessions? What about the plans we have for the future? What about the joint bank account? They'll be thinking of all these things and taking responsibility for everything, even though they don't necessarily have to be thinking of every single part of this story, because the dumper obviously has a 50-50 share of responsibility within all of this, but the Dumpee will often put all of the burden on themselves. So when you think about this all together, you can understand as for why a Dumpee will be thinking of a dumper 24/7. Now, if anybody was to say to a Dumpee, look, it's time you try to move forward with your life, it's time you try to start dating new people, the Dumpee will likely say in stage 1, no, I don't want that. I don't want to date anybody else. I don't want to think about anybody else. I just want my ex back. I want to sort this out. They're on my mind 24/7. I can't even begin to consider dating anybody else. This is never going to happen. I will only ever love my ex. There will be nobody else that ever comes into my life that can even slightly compare to them. They were so great. They were so unbelievable. And I miss them so much. And when the Dumpee is in this mindset, in this stage 1, being a stage 1 Dumpee, it can feel very tunnel vision. All they're thinking about is trying to get their ex back. They're not interested in speaking with anybody else. They're not interested in dating with anybody else. They're not interested in trying to go through self-improvement because they're thinking to themselves anything that's detracting themselves from thinking of their ex is actually wasted time. They think if they consider their ex in their mind for long enough, they will come up with a fantastic solution as for how they can try to win them back. And of course, as I've mentioned in various other podcasts, this is not likely to help the Dumpee in their endeavour of trying to get their ex back. However, this is the likely stage that a Dumpee will be going through initially. It's stage 1. It's a stage 1 Dumpee. Now, if you are a Dumpee and you are recognising what I'm saying right now, then please be assured that things will start to get easier. Please make sure you subscribe to my podcasts and that you familiarise yourself with all of the other podcasts that I've done so far. But understand that as this mini-series progresses, once we get into stage 2 and stage 3, you will understand as for why for most dumpees, the experience will get easier. And that's very, very important for you to understand if you're going through the grind right now. But things will get easier. So please stay stable-minded, stay strong, talk with your friends and family, and understand that you can progress through this. You will get through this dark tunnel, and you will come out the other side, and you will see the light, and you will see happiness. I understand that it's very, very hard for you to see anything like that right now, but please believe me, you will get through this. And once we get into the second episode of this mini-series, stage 2, and then into stage 3, you will understand further. So please just hold on tight, hold on for the ride as you are moving through your emotions. It's very, very difficult. You know, I'm not trying to say in any way, shape or form that this is easy. I appreciate it's quite possibly the worst pain you've gone through, but things will begin to get easier. The feelings a dumpee has during this initial stage are very understandable. It's the fear that they will never meet somebody better. It is the fear that they won't feel love again. But the dumpee must try to understand that they are inflating the feelings for their ex, because even if they were completely in love with their ex right now, due to the imbalance of power, due to the imbalance of how both people are feeling towards each other, this is inflating the dumper's ego, okay? This is making the dumper feel even higher value and making the dumpee feel even lower value. And it is not a true representation of how things truly were within the relationship. It's just very natural that the dumpee is looking up right now at the dumper and thinking to themselves, they're all powerful. I will never meet somebody as good as them. And therefore, I'm really, really concerned for my future. I don't think I'm ever going to experience the positive feelings that I once had. But please understand that this is just a false feeling. It's been inflated. It's not real. And as we move through into stage 2 and stage 3, you will understand as a dumpee that things get easier and you can move forward with your life. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent Bo, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent Bo got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.